Thank you from the wings. Do you want to see her? Look at her, sick. Look, she won't let me show. Look terrible. She never looks terrible, does she?
The sun's going down as I try to make my way through the crowd. Feeling alive. I love being by your side. It makes me shine. We got one summer, so let's make it count. You make me feel like everything's alright. Let's dance our problems away in the night. Love being right next to you. You'll be on my mind. I'll be dreaming about this till the end of the day. We are young, we are free, down for the ride. Might be over tomorrow, but we got this day forever. Do you hear that sound? Can you feel the music? Let's get wild. We're magic, you and I. They call us reckless, but
How stunning is this campsite? It is a hip camp. It is known as Belli Creek, or it's in that vicinity of the Sunshine Coast hinterland. G'day. And next week I will show you all around here. We're about 15 minutes to Kenilworth west, and then if we go east into Yamundi, about 15 minutes as well. So it's a perfect location to really look at this region. It is God's country up here. 30 more minutes and you'll get into Noosa's famous beaches and maybe catch some of your favourite celebrities hanging out there in the local park. But it is a really great location. We love these hip camps that we've been finding as we've been coming all the way down from up at the Cape there. And this one is really special. There are 9 sites. The site that we're on is number 9. There's a hot tip that I'll show you, but it is absolutely massive. We'll come over this way and you can see. So you can fit a couple of vans here. I think you're allowed up to 6 people camping on one site. And there's Katie over there. She doesn't want to be on camera. She's got the lurgy. She got the flu. There's a bit of a story about this actually. We just had a flying trip down to Melbourne, which was fantastic. And it was for a good mate's wedding. I was the MC. It was really fantastic. We actually got to have a kid-free night. And the wedding, I guess, after party was on a cruise ship, which was so fantastic. Full band, got to have a good dance. Didn't I? Let my hair down. Kate couldn't get me off. Anyways, unfortunately when we came back, we've all brought back the flu with us, and it knocked me for 6. I was flat out for a few days. Then little Jasper, in fact Jasper ended up in hospital. His temperature skyrocketed. I think at its worst it was around 39.7. That's off a digital read in his ears, and just hovering that 39 and a half for so many hours. We got a little concerned, as you do as parents, and eventually we just, even though we're trying to manage the temperature, couldn't get it down. So we took him into the hospital in Noosa. Staff there were amazing. 3.5 hours later, and Panadol and Nurofen and all the jazz that they give kids these days, that temperature slowly came down, but they wouldn't let us go until it got down under 38 degrees. So anyway, he's fine. He's in the van. He's still pretty flat, I think would be fair to say. And of course I've got my sexy voice on. But Katie, she said she'd kill me if I showed you her face. She's still smiling, which is good. But look, it's a good place actually to get yourself away from everyone else, because there's so much space here. We've done, I don't know, 3 rat tests. Yeah. Jasper even did a PCR test in the hospital. None of us have COVID. So we've got the lurgy. We just got flu A, I think they told us. So not great, but you know, we're getting on with it, which is the main thing. Now, let's talk about what's coming up in this episode. I'm about to talk you through the external part of the Sojourn, the family bunk van from Zone. because we're now 6 months down the track. We've got it to where we want it. We absolutely love it. We never did an external walk around. We know we've been asked to do this for some time, and there's some really cool ideas and things that we've done that, you know, also might help you with your van. So we're going to walk through that. I'm also going to show you how we set up our projector for outdoor cinema, outdoor games night, because it is one of the highlights. Even as far back as when we first started over 3 years ago, we've been doing our outdoor cinema and we love it. It always gains a bit of attention, I have to say. And not tonight, but maybe tomorrow night if everyone's feeling better. There's a few kids here. We're going to invite them all around, and the cicadas that you can hear. I know they're called cicadas, but when I was a kid, I called them cicadas. And Kate said, that's my word, I get wrong. We argued about it when we first met, because no one had ever told me that it was cicada, not cicada. Anyway, sounds like a female rap artist, doesn't it? Cicada. Righto, let's get over to the van. Now, Kate is going to probably yell out a couple of things if I miss anything as we're going. You can see Jasper's little camp cubby. It's one of our favourite things to do, actually, is to put a camp cubby up. Isn't that cool? He's got his tent and his kite ready to go. Oh, there she is. You don't want to get in the shot, do you? All right, let's start with the outdoor kitchen. Okay, get straight into it. This is, you know, arguably the best feature on the van as far as an innovative idea around allowing everyone to be outside during the cooking action, opposed to being, you know, someone inside getting dinners ready and whatever, you know, and feeling like they're missing out on the conversation. Well, now everyone can be outside because of how well they've designed this. In here is our induction cooker, and it runs on 240, plugs in straight here. There's a couple of other adapters here for power, your ciggy lighter, 12 volt, some USBs, always come in handy. This is a bracket for the TV, and this guy here is the actual hose that goes on here, and you can see it's actually hot and cold. So then we have a collapsible little sink that we put here, and then that way we can hot and cold water for the dishes. The induction cooker, we've been mainly using that for when we're preparing our pizzas, and also, you know, getting those other ingredients onto the pizza top. And it's brilliant when we pull up, we're on a travel day and we just want to have a cup of tea. Just put the induction out, boom, we're in. What else we keep here? Our towels, our hammocks normally go in here as well. This is everything to do with keeping away the bugs, which is good. Our fly nets are in there for our face. And then over here, tea and coffee facilities. This is awesome. And this is something I'd recommend everyone checks out. But basically, it is called the Premium Cutlery Kit from MSA. Boom. How good's that? Everything in there, bamboo, cutting board, knives, all the rest of it. Poor little Jasper, you can hear him in there, he's still a bit under. It actually comes with 6 set, but we leave 3 in here, and then we put the other 3 inside, and that way it really separates out. We can pluck this into the four-wheel drive and take it off camping as well, and know that we've got enough cutlery for ourselves. I mean, if you're a couple, you could probably leave a set of 4 inside and just take 2 with you, but yeah, love it. Great new product. We get asked about our plants, our hanging plants. Biosecurity around the country in different states is pretty strict. If you've got a plant and you're going into Tasmania, they make you turf it, which can be very heartbreaking if you're a bit of a green thumb. So this is $2 from Kmart, I think. You can buy them at cheap shops. Doesn't weigh anything. Look at that, you know, no soil to worry about. And it actually looks good, doesn't it? There's so many different things like this, but I think if just to make it a little bit more homely, it's a great suggestion. Okay, I bought this out just to show you the Rain-X. Why have I got that? Someone's written into us and said, this is really good to use on your solar panels on the roof. And so, anyway, we will give that a go. My understanding from the manufacturer and when I've spoken to people in the solar business is just hot soapy water, and that'll do the job. In fact, all this composite vans now, they suggest you don't use any harsh chemicals at all when you're cleaning it, you know, so just hot soapy water and then you'll be right. They tend to stay clean than most vans too. Like, I don't know whether it's just the material, but it always looks good. Anyway, we're going to be doing a full van clean and wash through in Hervey Bay in a few weeks' time, probably actually a month's time, because there's a massive caravan and truck bay there that I can actually pull into. So we'll talk you through what we use and how we do everything as we're going through there. I think that's it on this for the kitchen, but I'll just show you under here. You can see that red marker there. That is actually giving me the travelling height, the perfect travel height for the top of the wheel. So you can see at the moment, it's actually raised slightly up. And that is because this van has an auto levelling system. Now this can be very confusing, and we didn't understand this either when we first started. But basically in here, with our airbag system, yeah. Well, there he is. Hi, Jasper. Oh, Mickey Mouse's Christmas. Excellent. Oh, well, there's always Christmas in our life, isn't it? Even when Christmas is well and truly gone. But here, if I were to push these two knobs down here, it would auto level the van. And what that basically means is that it gives it the perfect towing height. Makes it level across the axles for me when I'm towing. So it doesn't magically level your van up when you get to a campsite. That'd be brilliant. But what it actually does is level it back down perfectly for towing. So that's what the auto leveling means. However, what you can do is toggle those airbags up and down to level it out. You definitely can level the van with it, but it isn't an automatic leveling system, if that makes sense. All right, we'll keep coming around. The door here, probably widely seen on motorhomes more so than caravans. This is like an armour mesh. It's, you know, hopefully burglar proof. The glass separates out, which is really fantastic. It has 4 locking points for the glass, and then if I were to open it, you can see there's 4 main locking points for security for the van as well. So we always feel very safe at night to leave this open and still get all of that beautiful fresh airflow through the van, which is awesome. We have got electric steps. I will say about these, if you have got kids, it can be a little aggressive. I'll just show you that. Boom. There we go. So yeah, so if you're standing here in the wrong spot, and when that comes out, wow, talk about cracking your shin. You only make that mistake once, I have to say. And then we also have been asked a lot about our awning, the electric awning. Now, we have had both types of awnings through our different vans, but this particular one, we thought, oh, it could be a little bit too much of a luxury, you know, like, do you really need it? No. Now that we've got it, would we go back? Never. We absolutely love the electric awning. It is just a breeze, and the ability to be able to pull up just for a roadside snack or a cuppa, and then just push the button and it comes out, say 2 foot, just to give us enough shade. We might only want it out this far where the kitchen is, or we might want to bring it out, you know, halfway. It is absolutely brilliant. If we're inside and a storm whips up and we're like, oh, we better pull it in, just, you know, I mean, you're just pressing the button. You don't have to get outside and do anything. We still do use our awning anchor kit just to give it that extra stability. And one of the best parts of this invention really are these rubber springs, aka the toe savers. Anyone who has taken their toe out on a spring knows what I'm talking about there. So yeah, high vis too. The kids tend to be able to find these any time of the day. It doesn't matter whether it's light or dark, but having these high vis straps is also a bit of a godsend as well. Another thing too, you quite often see people putting these straps way out here, you know, like 2-3 meters from the van. Well, with the actual ground dogs, you don't need to come out so far. So that's just another really cool thing to know as well. Oh, one more thing that I wanted to point out were the bug deterrent lights. What does this actually mean? In on this panel, there are these lights. There's a bright white, which you can see up there, or bug lights. Now, what is cool about this is that bugs, apparently, don't like the warm lights, red lights, orange lights. So as far as deterrent, they can't see as well. So they're like, oh, nah, don't like that fan. I'll go over this one where the white lights are on. So they're really fantastic. Now, you can find these online. So just do a bit of a Google if you want to swap your own out, or get some little LED strips that are the orange lights, and you will definitely see a result from these lights. They do the job, okay? So they don't have any other reason, they believe, other than they just don't like them. So there you go. Okay, let's come down now over here. Twin gas bayonet here for you for outlets, and then that's the control switch under there. I have got this now, as anyone who runs a Weber knows that, I don't know, what's it been, 2 years that Weber's going to bring out an anti-flame cutoff valve, like a retrofit that you could put on your Weber, because legislation now has come into play in Australia that does not allow you to basically plug your Weber. This is the slide in here, so I'll just pull this out so you can see it. Yeah, doesn't allow you to plug your Weber directly into these outlets. So I carry the spare 4 kilo or whatever weight that is to run the Weber legally. Now, we're at the point where 3 years in with the Weber, never missed a beat. We absolutely love it. But if they don't come up with a solution soon, then I think just for convenience, we'll be adios the Migos, the Weber to Lifeline, I think, and we will get ourselves a Ziggy or something else that does the job. Unless you know if Weber has actually released something, I haven't seen it yet, so let me know. That'd be great. Another thing that I'd really love to get for the second valve here, or if you're really cooking up the storm, but anyway, is a paella, or paella as we say in Australia, wok. It's I guess a proper paella tray and a circular twin burner that you can regulate the heat really well to make a beautiful paella. On New Year's Eve, we were house sitting for some friends and we had the best meal. I'll talk about a start to 2023. I'll overlay some footage of it there. It was brilliant. We've got a weigh-in coming soon for the van and for the 79 combined. We've spoken about that. If I've got room, which I believe we're going to be quite under now with the new canopy and losing a couple of 100 kilos off the back of the truck, I'm definitely getting one of these so that we can make that one of our staples in our camping diet, because it was sensational. All right, but more on that as we do our weigh-in. Hopefully I'll be bringing you a paella burner and I don't know what that's called, but the paella pan. Thank you, wifey. Okay, this is great. I actually just use these mats for a couple of different reasons. One is that it absolutely stops this moving around when we're traveling, and it doesn't weigh anything. That's if we're doing skinless salmon. When we're doing salmon with skin on, it goes straight on the grill. That's our collapsible little sink that I was talking about. Another really cool thing that we had in here is the twin GPOs, just to give us power outlets. If you were to put the induction on here and you wanted to be using this space so that you're completely freeing up the kitchen, because that is quite a good amount of space there, well, we've got then this space over here. Love our oat milk. Occasionally they're like $2 instead of $2.80 or that crazy prices, so we always stock up, and that's just a good place to put it because there's plenty of space on the end here, and I know that the weight is then transferring a little bit more forward. You can see this goes all the way in, nothing else really in there. Oh, we do have lights, and then again another power option with the 12 volt there. Oh, and these two lights, look at that. again, separate to the main lighting system, so that when you are cooking, switch that bug light on if you're doing a night cook. Isn't that brilliant? Absolutely love that. I think that's it. We'll push that guy back in. Boom. Love the height here. It means that you can leave your Weber lid on the slide and you don't have to take it off, which is what we had to do in our last van. Okay, and that just locks up like that. Waterproof, dustproof, completely. Everyone asks us this, and if you're out there in the zone, leave a comment for others to see. These vans are dustproof. We don't run another system to keep the dust in or out. As long as we've got the gas cover on and the windows are shut up properly, we get no dust in this van when we've taken it off-road. Absolutely brilliant. Once we get out onto the Gib and those sort of areas where it is relentless and red and dusty, we'll be able to see it in its full capacity. But 6 months down the track, dust-free van. Love it. Waterproof van. Love it. All right, let's keep going. When we look into the main boot here, I believe it weighs, again with this composite material, something like 30% lighter than previous toolboxes on the front of vans. It's 35% more capacity, so you can load it up. The tow ball weight on the front of these vans is so light now because of the way they have distributed the weight, is that it's recommended that you do really put all your stuff in here. I call this my BCF boot, and that's because basically most of the things in here I got at BCF, and you know, you go in for one item, you come out with 10. I'm that guy. This is a great Aussie product. These are called treads. They're just compact how they come together. There's the ramps, but then also your little feet pads for your stabilizers, which is very cool. I like this little LED light here. Isn't that great? Completely lights it up. Our drill, ground dogs, our little toolbox, our extra very cool awning runner, which is our clothesline for if it is raining and we want to run the clothesline. Basically, it just feeds into this sail track along here, and it's like a bungee cord. That's from Crazy Dog Canvas. That's an Aussie guy, Aussie business in Queensland here, Jason. You can just Google him and check it out, or I think you can actually find him on our gear page as well. But really great products, quality canvas, Australian products. This is the main zone bag that comes with the van. What I love about this in here is that it also has what's called an emergency breakdown kit. So there's your solutions for power, air and water, which generally are the three things that are going to cause you some grief. Also, the airbag man extender lead there. I didn't really show that, but I should have. Sorry, guys. Is that there is an air compressor here as well. You can see that. Sometimes you'll find these on the external side of van. I think the reason, I haven't asked, but why Zone put it on the inside is to protect it from the elements. And anyway, you can plug the airbag extender hose in there and then get around to all the tyres, drop those air pressures down. We'll drop them down to probably 24, 26 psi if we're on some pretty soft, gravelly roads. Anything that's going to give it a really good workout, I'll take the pressure out there. I'll show you under the van when we get around to the back too, and show you the ATX suspension. I've got some overlay to show you that in action as well, because nothing moves in the van. Absolutely love it. It is unbelievable to us that you can still fly down a road, and if you've got your tyre pressures right, then you can still protect everything inside the van. So I'll show you some footage of that in a bit. But besides that, a bit of our Nike stuff still in here as well, but really that's about it. The solar blanket, which now I really don't use, because there's another question I've got: how much solar panels are on the roof? There are 7 180 watt panels, which quick sums tell me is 1260 watts of solar. That is truly unbelievable. The whole roof is a solar panel basically, and then that feeds into 600 amp hour lithium batteries, okay, which is 200 banks. You can, in this van, put a fourth in, so you can have 800 amp hours of lithium. I don't know, we have never even thought about the power. Even if you wanted to run an aircon, we've run the aircon at different times. We wouldn't run the aircon all day. We would drain them down. But if you had 800 amp hours, you probably could get away with running the aircon, you know, relentlessly and still have plenty of power. It is remarkable how advanced the technology is increasing and improving all the time, and that also means that the price of these products is coming down as well. But yeah, what a gift, hey, to be able to not worry about your power source when you've got that much solar and that much lithium. All right, let's keep going around. I think, guys, that is it for in there. Yeah. Oh, there is a water fill point here. That comes in handy. If at any point that you're in your van and you feel like there's an air blockage through any part of your plumbing, and you know the pump's sort of kicking in and you don't know why, a really good recommendation given to us by the guys at the zone maintenance team was to go to the front of van, draw the water through the furthest point from the pump, and that will push it through, and it worked. So there you go, some simple fixes. Just if you're having any issues out there with your water pump, do try drawing it through from the furthest point from the pump, and that generally will get rid of an air bubble as well. All right, down onto the front here, dirty storage. Isn't that brilliant? That's my knee saver that I always talk about. I put that down here so that when I am hitching up, unhitching, doing anything down here with the chains, that is, you know, doesn't weigh anything. You can get them at Bunnings. Fantastic. The power jack, gee, we've talked that up a lot. We just, again, it's that difference of not knowing you're missing something until you've got it. And then when you get it, you're like, geez, I wish I had this all the time. The diesel heater. This is the diesel jerry can. It's also lockable, which is great. And as far as Katie and I are concerned, we would forego other things in the van to keep the heater. So if you're weight conscious, then yeah, look at getting rid of other things, but don't get rid of the diesel heater, because at some point you'll be going, oh, thank you, Feel Goods. I'm so glad you told me to keep that heater. It is absolutely godsend when you want it. And out there in Central Australia, you know, we're there June, July, August, 0 degrees there at Curtin Springs, -1 out at Ayers Rock, Uluru. So, you know, gee, when the van, you know, it doesn't take much and it's heated up and you're all toasty. Wow, it's awesome, isn't it, Katie? All right, down onto here, DO35 from Cruise Master. This hitch, we just absolutely love it. Again, it's one of those things that it's the first time we've had this sort of hitch, and now that we've got it, we couldn't go back. You know, it's just shifting around on me, so I can't get it on. Sorry. This here, what's this? This is basically just one of those beach wet bags. And so I just grabbed this. I actually think this is a product that Zone should do, because then you put all your electrics in there, and we did have some rain the other night, fairly torrential, and I just know that is going to keep those basically electric connection points, and there's also the reverse camera there, dry, and keep the bugs and all the carry-on out of that. So yeah, just a nice little suggestion there as well. If you're looking for something, just get a wet bag, and then you can just put your cords and cables in there. All right, coming around this side, another thing I really love is that they separate out with this wall here for the twin gas bottles. We used to have 9 kilo bottles, twins in our previous vans. I thought, I wonder how we'll go, you know, because we'll run out of gas so much quicker, and having these, are they 4 kilo or are they 4.5, 3.75? I think it depends who fills it up, which quickie mart you go to be honest. But anyway, what we found now with all of this solar and the capacity in the lithiums, we actually are using so less gas because of the amount of power we've got. Whereas what we used to do is end up very reliant on the gas because we didn't have enough power. So we've completely, you know, flipped the coin here. So yeah, I think, as I mentioned in the last couple of episodes, the gasless van, there's definitely, they are out there. But as far as a industry wide change from removing all gas, I think there's probably still another 5 years in that before everyone's got rid of gas. So, but we can see how it's very doable. And yeah, I think that will be great when it actually happens and everything on the electrics is reliant. All right, let's keep going around the tunnel boot through here. Whoop. There we go. Up here, another light on this side. Can never have enough lighting, I think. The Witty anti-theft system, also a immobilizer. You can track the van, see where it is. It can basically engage a locking system so that the van can't be towed away. Brilliant. Check that out for yourself if you want a cheaper insurance as far as looking after your pride and joy. That is brilliant. Let's hope we never have to use it, but there you go. This is our flat out hose. Isn't that cool? Just so simple. That just lives there. That's about it, really. Look at the size of that tunnel boot. And that basically sits under the main head of our bed. Okay, coming down this side, those beautiful, huge European windows that we talk up so much, just allowing that environment from the outside in. Coming down here, you can see on this side, the way I've got the ground runs off is that you can see the level point there. That's pretty well the perfect towing point on this side, and I've just raised the van up on the other side just to get me level. And then these are more comms here. The main 15 amp input if we were to plug in, and then the cut-off switch, circuit breaker, couldn't think of the name of it. Thank you from the wings. Do you want to see her? Look at her, sick. Look, she won't let me show. Look terrible. She never looks terrible, does she? What was I going to say about that? 6 months down the track, we've never plugged in. We have not plugged into power with this van yet because of the amount of solar that is on the roof. It is... I know, we just keep saying it. Wow, what a gift, hey? All right, in here, that is where the main inverter is. Basically a 3000 inverter, all red arc system. Over here is another little 12-volt power source there, which we will use when we showcase our water transfer system that we've got coming up. But look at this. This is the way I believe manufacturing in Australia for vans needs to go, because from our experience, from previous vans and from lots of people out there that we talk to, it is an absolute rat nest in wiring in vans. It's all just chucked together and then hidden behind a wall. Well, check this out. That is how it should be, right? Safer for you, better for the manufacturer to not, then be dealing with some problems because even their own team can't get to it in the service centre because it's all just been, shoved in there, and hopefully, we'll forget about it. Nothing will go wrong. Well, things do go wrong. So what I love about here is that everything is labelled. You can see exactly what's what. If you need the schematic, this is basically what I refer to as the diagram for dummies. It shows you a bit of a site map of your van, the electrics, the solar input, output, how it all talks to each other, and you can track back and find it's color coded and hopefully get yourself out of trouble. Also, what we loved and that comes with this van is a full troubleshooting manual that is basically the A to Z for zone vans. So yeah, you can hopefully work your way out of an issue, find out what you can do to get yourself up and running again before you get to a service centre. So we love that as well. They're very forward thinking. It's really basic stuff, but they just do it very, very well. All right, let's keep going now down here. All right, I'm going to sit down on the ground. Here are the 4 fill points, okay? Which you can see here. That's just a little dust cover again. These are labelled or stamped T1, tank 1, D for drinking, T2, and M for mains. So basically, when I am wanting to, hook up to a mains point somewhere where we might have that access, fantastic. Otherwise, filling back this way. Really brilliant is that the drinking is an isolated tank and has an isolated pump separate to the rest of the van. So if you're looking under the van, they're actually in that order. Up towards, I guess, the main dining area is tank 1. It's a poly tank, and then the next tank is drinking. That's right between the axles. And then tank 2 is just on the back wheel here. And then there's a grey poly tank just there. You can see that it's all beautifully protected so that you can do those, you know, outback roads with ease, not be worried about puncturing your tanks, or if you're on the gib, you hear about that a lot. That is brilliant. Does it add weight? It does add a little bit of weight, but it also adds peace of mind, which is always worth the weight. Haha, see what I did there? That there is a bypass valve for the grey water, so that if you don't want to use the grey, which in this instance we're allowed to empty straight out onto the lawn, that's fine. All the way back through there is that amazing ATX suspension that you can see. And you can see there the airbag is a little bit compressed on this side and then extended on the other side. That's just through the leveling that I'm using through those airbags. And I should be overlaying now some actual action of those ATX suspension doing their job. Isn't that fantastic? And then coming back here a little bit further is another hot and cold shower point. Just brilliant. It is. It truly is a bit of a luxury, isn't it, to have hot water when you're out camping, particularly off grid, to have 2 shower points or wash points for yourself and for everything that you're using. There are 2 recovery points here. That's those yellow, basically, points there, and you know, hopefully you're not going to have to use them, but if you do, that's going to certainly help you safely tow without breaking anything underneath the van or breaking anything on the chassis. Okay, why have I got the... Oh, there she is again, look. Yeah, loitering, that's right. I haven't heard that word for a while, since my teenage years. This is where that spare tyre goes on. I've taken that off because look at the real estate on the back of that van. We love it. You know, we had the option obviously to put a ladder on here, and that would certainly give you pretty easy access up onto the roof for cleaning it and solar and servicing or whatever. But we have always loved, as I mentioned, projecting our outdoor cinema, and just moving that tyre off, very easy, allows me to be able to set up for the ultimate outdoor cinema. And games night is a huge thing now that Jasper's 6 and he just loves that Apple Arcade. I feel like I've got this resurgence of my youth. You know, I had a Commodore 64, a little Atari thing at some point. I think I had a Sega game console, but then all through my teenage years I never had a game console, so I feel like I'm getting a second little bite at the cherry here with Jasper, who's very keen on these racing games and what's his name, Sonic. He loves Sonic, doesn't he? So yeah, so I'll show you some of the footage there, because that is just a gift to be able to sit out on these beautiful balmy nights and actually run the projector. I will now take a quick break, grab a drink, but I will then come back and show you exactly what we do to set up the projector, what the brand is, the different applications from basically what we plug and play to enjoy our entertainment outside. The only other thing to show you, I mean, how big is this site? Look at it. Isn't this brilliant? There we go. Is down here, why is our Starlink way down there, and why is it on a table with a towel? Well, you can see that tree there. That was causing me a bit of grief. You really do want to get as clear, what do they call it? Line of sight to Elon Musk's satellites. And so what's really great with Starlink is that it has, like, I don't know, how long would that be? 30-metre cable or something. And so I've run it out there. It was downpour the other night, and so it was slipping off the table. So now I've just used that towel. Look at that, hey? Genius. Hasn't slipped now. We've got full coverage. I think I'll overlay here. I can't remember. I did a test. It might have been 130 megabytes per second. I mean, it is just brilliant. It's so amazing for us to be able to, whether it's, you know, entertainment, you know, play or work, to be able to do all of that just for schooling. Again, that peace of mind to be able to know that we can hook up to the internet and we can make Wi-Fi calls, video calls, online gaming, streaming movies, whatever it is. It is absolutely brilliant. If you're thinking about traveling to Australia, have a look in our description at the link around Starlink, because there's some good offers there, and it is a game changer. We absolutely love it. I think that's it. That's where the fire's going to happen a little bit later tonight, if I can get this family outside into the hammock. There you go. It's Katie's cameo again. We don't see a lot of the back here. We only ever see the front here, so... Look at this beautiful campsite. Absolutely love it. Oh my gosh, it's been super hot this week. And so to have the grey skies and just drop that temperature a bit, beautiful. All right, we'll show you around here a little bit more next week. But now I'll quickly chuck to the projector. Otherwise, I'll leave you for this week and we'll see you next week. Hope that you and your family have a wonderful week and you're keeping safe and well. Bye. Okay, cinema night, outdoor movies, games night. That's what we're really utilising a lot more now, as I mentioned. Okay, this is a system basically that we use. Now, we've had this literally for 3 years, so I dare say there are new, improved products out there, but after a few years of running this, you know, I can tell you that it's worked every time. We don't use it every week, that's for sure, but definitely once a month, every few weeks, we would have an outdoor experience with this little guy. Now, what is so good about it is that it is Wi-Fi ready, you can screen mirror, it is Bluetooth enabled. We're just plugging most of the time just HDMI in. So what does that mean? We can plug directly into the projector from the Apple TV. That is probably the best application because then as long as you've got that Wi-Fi connection, you can, you know, God, get anything from anywhere in the world through your Apple TV and then projecting it straight out onto the back of the van. I also download videos onto my laptop. It is also a USB micro SD card if you store digital files like that, whether that's photos or video or movies, whatever it is, which is really good. And there's also a VGA connection for those of you who know what that is. If you don't know what that is, that probably means you don't use it, so don't worry about it. But that is pretty well it. And what is it? 860 grams. Isn't that brilliant? So it is so lightweight. The only thing I'll say is there's much more expensive but powerful lumens available through the projectors that are available on the market. This one, I think from memory, is 2600 lumens, which means it has to be dark for you to get a picture. There are other ones that are so incredibly bright that you can, still be setting it up and testing it when, you know, not when the sun's out, but when it's on dusk. So with this, you're not going to really be able to get the picture right and adjust it until it is completely dark. But the clarity is fantastic. It can throw up to an 80-inch screen that's diagonally across from one point to the other. So that is massive. When you live in a caravan, you know, we've got the luxury of a 28-inch smart TV inside, but to get up to literally that entire space there, as I mentioned, the real estate of the back of the Zone van is brilliant for this. It's pretty exciting. And then the other thing that we run is one of these little JBL boombox sound bars, whatever you want to call it. Again, it Bluetooth. So I just hook that straight through the Apple TV. I Bluetooth the audio speaker, and then we have this really rich, beautiful, big contained sound that really just, you know, keeps us feeling like we're in the movie or in the action of the game, but not going to upset any other campers as well, which is really good. And generally, being at the back of the van, we find just the way we camp that we're removed from other campers. Again, we're not upsetting anyone, which is really fantastic. I'm putting this onto a tripod, which is just one of our camera tripods. You can see under there. And that is pretty well it. If I had the truck a little bit closer, or I had a table, you could also put it onto that, and that way kids aren't going to knock into the legs of the tripod. But that is pretty well it. We're running it through our power system here. That is the Red Arc inverter, 2000 watt. It obviously, you could run a lot less size inverter. There's 200 amp hour lithium in here as well, so I think there's a 140 watt solar panel on the roof. I'm never going to run out of power to run something as small as a projector. There are other really portable power solutions. There's a couple coming up in a couple of months too that I will showcase as well to give you other options on how to do this. But really, for the value, the entertainment value to get yourself outside, I think this is an absolute ripper, or for what was a few $100s. All right, that's it. I will leave it at that. Again, take care of yourself and look after your family, and we'll see you next week. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching. Please do like, subscribe, and share our channel. And if you'd like more information on full-time RV travel and living, visit our website, thefeelgoodfamily.com. There you'll find loads of free resources, our weekly podcast, caravan cooking recipes, our monthly Go RV magazine articles, and much more. We look forward to seeing you next week. Take care of yourself and your family, and happy trails.